Hi there, welcome back to Mastering the Young Band. This video is going to talk about how I start my beginning percussionists. I spend 80% of my time at the beginning with percussion on pad and snare drum, getting their hands moving. Getting the hands moving is the most important part of a percussionist beginning. And really, mallets, once they have a good wrist stroke, at that point, they just need to know what the names of the notes are on the keyboard, as well as the names on the staff, and be able to apply that. So first with pad, the first thing that I do with my percussionists is I teach them to get their feet shoulder width apart. When we tap our toe, you have 1 foot forward. So I tell them to tap their toe. Whatever toe taps, that's the one they want slightly in front of them. Then I teach them to put their arms up like this. And then I show them that I'm not squeezing my wrists, I'm just putting them up relaxed like this, and they're right next to each other with my wrist facing the ceiling. Then what I show them is I tell them usually to act like they're pumping up a bike tire. And they do that with me. He's like, that's called arm motion. Everybody say arm motion. They'll say arm motion. And I go, that's not what we do drumming. This is what we do drumming. Go to a wrist motion. Everybody say wrist motion. And they do wrist and they match me. Every kid can do it very quickly. Sometimes I'll give them an analogy. Wrist motion is more like bouncing a ball. You're not pumping up a bike tire. It's more like bouncing a ball. I'll tell them that when you do a wrist motion, your arm is naturally going to move, but that the motion starts with the wrist and the arm follows. Compared to arm leading, looks like that. So we talk about percussion. The primary motion is with the wrists. Then I show them, this is your first exercise. Watch me. I'll turn the metronome on to 72. I tap my toe. Ready? Set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop. And I'll talk about it. I'll say, okay, how many times did each hand go? 8. What's the last thing I said? Stop. Was I tapping my toe? Yes. And notice I was doing the wrist motion. And I tell them, this is called BIPs, built-in practice pads. We are working on drumming, and we don't have our pad, we don't have our sticks. These are our built-in practice pad, B-I-P-P. And on the board, it'll even say BIPs, and it'll say the exercise they're doing. And I use that for the first couple weeks of playing, just to really get their wrist motion solid. We'll do it together. We'll play 8 several times, tempo 72, and get them used to playing it. And I do have my percussionists say the counting like that out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop. Again, and ready, go. 1, 2, and so on. We go through that. We talk about wrist motion versus arm. We talk about the elbows not being too close to the body. We talk about not doing it like this. You'll get kids that will play too close. You'll get kids that are really far away. Just talk about the elbows being relaxed and in front of the body. After they do 8s, I teach them 4s, but I don't tell them it's 4s. Go, here's your next exercise. Watch me. Set. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. I'll say, how many times did I do each hand? They'll say 4. What do you think this exercise is called? 4s. It is 4s. Okay, here we go. And we play through 4s several times. Then I teach them doubles. Watch me do doubles. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Stop. How many times they do each hand? 2. What do you think this is called? And they'll all say 2s. I'm like, it's actually not called 2s, it's called doubles. Everybody say doubles, and then we do doubles. I help them. You notice I did right, right, left, left 4 times. So as they're playing, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and stop. Again, and red. And they're going right, right, left, left, right, and so on. After they've done 8s, 4s, doubles, then I do alternating. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And I tell them this isn't called 1s, this is called alternating. They all say alternating. And again, I help them with this one by doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and stop. Again, and ready, go. And they go through their alternating. So within the first 10 minutes of them playing percussion, they already know 8s, they know 4s, they know doubles, and they know singles. And when they're with the metronome, you'd be surprised at how well they stay with the metronome, just tapping their toe and using this BIPs concept. I usually do that for the first day or two. Then starting on about day 3 or 4, once this is all looking pretty good, then I introduce them to a warm-up that uses different sticking patterns. So what I will do on the board or in a handout, I have all of these stickings. So you can see here, there's 8 rights, then 8 lefts. I tell them to watch me, I play through the line, and I go, what is this called? Everybody's like, that's just 8s, correct. And we'll play line 1, which is 8s. Line 2 is 4s, line 3 is doubles, line 4 is singles, and they're not reading any notation, they're just reading stickings. And we're going through all of this. This will also go to paradiddles, it'll go through some left-hand lead a little bit, and it's just showing them all the different ways that they can do sticking patterns. Once we've gone through about a week of bips, then I introduce them to the next step, and that's what I call Walter grip. My professor at CU's name is Douglas Walter, and he's a big fan of this grip called Walter grip, and it is an awesome way of transitioning your kids from bips to sticks. It's amazing how beginners really struggle to go from that nice wrist motion with bips to having sticks. They start doing a lot of weird things. So to reinforce the wrist motion, what Walter grip is, you'll notice, by the way, your beginners, I highly recommend this. I tape their sticks so they know where their fulcrum goes. So when they do Walter grip, what they're gonna do, they're gonna put the stick between their first and middle finger in both hands. And what this does, and then I teach them, wrap your fingers around, but don't squeeze against your hand, but keep it wrapped around. And what this teaches them is a really nice way of using their wrist motion that gets rid of the first finger and the thumb. A lot of kids, the thumb and first finger, when they start going to match grip too soon, they start swiping instead of going straight up and down. They start putting their fingers on the stick, they start using arm, they start doing all kinds of weird things. This Walter grip that I've found, when you go from bips to this, it's amazing how they keep their wrist motion when they're playing. So we go 8s, 4s, doubles using this Walter grip, where we get our stick set, we go ready, set, tips up like that, 1, 2, and ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, stop. And then we do bips and Walter grip for about the next week, for the second week. Once they have their Walter grip down pretty well, keep an eye, don't let them do this, by the way. Keep the sticks on the back of or keep the back fingers on the stick. And they can have this stick move a little bit between their palm. Don't let them do that. It needs to stay closer in slow motion. That's it. That's the wrist motion. My arm's gonna move a little bit naturally. The stick's gonna leave the palm a tiny bit. You also don't want them gripping it tight with a death grip and not letting it leave their palm. It's okay for it to leave just a little bit. Once that looks pretty solid, they can play 8s, 4s, doubles, alternating. They can do my warm-up with all the different stickings. Then I transition them to matched grip. For matched grip, how I teach it, I have the kids come close to me. I show them that my thumbs go straight down my sticks. My first finger wraps around, and my thumb and first finger push against each other. That's called the fulcrum. We call it fulcrum. Then I tell them your back fingers wrap around, and then you open up your grip, tips next to each other, wrist facing the board, and you make a nice big pizza slice. And then when you play, same thing. You don't let your fingers go too far away. You play with that match grip. Okay? And what you want to watch out for, here's some common things that you're going to see with your beginners when you go to match grip. First one is the thumb is going to slide off. You're going to get kids that want to do the club version where they're just hitting it like that. Keep an eye on the thumb. That's the first thing. And as your kids play, tell them to watch their thumbs. Next thing you'll see is sometimes kids want to get that first finger and put it on the stick. Make sure that that stays wrapped around. Just like Walter grip, you'll see kids that they want to play with their fingers off the sticks. You don't want that. They won't have enough control. You want those fingers on the stick. The stick doesn't stay on the palm, but it stays close. That's what you want to see. Here's what you don't want to see. You also don't want to see this, the death grip. You're going to see kids that are too close to their pads when they're playing. Let me show you that from here. Okay, you want them to take a small step away from their pad. I call it a half step away. Another thing that you're going to see from kids when they're first playing on pad is you get some kids, they just really like their hands close to their body and they play like that. They need to get their arms away from the body, elbows away from the body. And what I've found, when you go from bips to Walter grip to match grip, you're not going to see as many kids swiping. That's one of the hardest things to fix with a beginner. Some kids just naturally want to swipe. The other thing that you'll sometimes see when you go to match grip after Walter grip is you'll see kids that want to play with their thumbs up. A lot of drum set players play thumbs up, and that's fine, but that's drum set, okay? The world of percussion in the contraband and classical world setting is different. It's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. You don't play thumbs up unless you're playing French grip timpani in classical or contraband music. You play like that. So you will see some kids that want to start playing like this. You just point it out. And what I usually do is I'll walk up to a kid that's doing that and I do this. And they fix it right away. They go, oh, there it is. But some kids do. They want to sneak in and get that thumb facing the ceiling. You don't want that. So that's how I start my beginners. We go from bips, Walter grip, to the match grip. And it's really cool. That Walter grip in between really sets your kids up for success with that wrist motion when they go to the matched grip. I hope you find that video helpful for your beginning percussion. Feel free to check out my website, MikePerezBand.com, as well as my Instagram page, which is Mastering the Young Band. I will be posting videos on there or when new videos come out, as well as new resources. My website has my Essential Foundations beginner and intermediate method book on there as well. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks. Take care.